And we have been using that at the ports, in the pharmacy stores across the country. Okay. And the beauty of it is it's mobile. It's just a handheld device. Yeah. Really? So you can be in Port Harcourt today, you know, the Chabrishe market in the next 1 hour, and then maybe in Kano in the next 2 hours.
Battery operated or?
You know,
yeah.
as they say, technology-wise, we always come first in Nigeria. They say, well, you know, they carry last. So basically, we know they carry last. If there is something, we do it. But I think it's understandable now because you already mentioned how wealthy the counterfeit industry is. Yes. So it's like having a whole nation's budget producing counterfeit industry, produce counterfeit drugs. Yeah. And I think that points to us how much of a budget we should also have to combat counterfeit drugs.
And still talking on the issue of control, I want you to tell us a little about the mobile authentication. Talking about this
mobile authentication, like I just told you now, with the sophistication in counterfeiting now, not even the most sophisticated pharmaceutical security expert trained to identify counterfeits can look at it and tell you that this is counterfeit or not. But we're out there telling the people, look out for counterfeits. We're telling doctors, don't give patients counterfeits. We are telling the patient, don't buy counterfeits. If you go to a store, don't buy counterfeits. Right. What does it make sense? Look, we told them, look out for the NAFDAC number. But like I just told you, even the NAFDAC number is counterfeited.
Exactly.
Even the number is counterfeited. So how do you now identify counterfeit medicines? What we have done is that the medicine that we have approved and authenticated, we want the consumer to pass that power to authenticate that medicine to the hands of the Nigerian consumer who actually has the biggest stake. Right. He's the one swallowing that medicine. His life is at stake. He's the one who should authenticate that medicine before he buys it.
Exactly.
So that mobile authentication service that is based on the same cell phone technology that you use, we realize that more than 80 million Nigerians are using cell phones now. Yes. Yeah. And most of them are conversant with texting.
True.
And then most of them, of course, buy scratch cards. They scratch them, review PIN numbers, and use that to recharge their credit on their phones. So what we have decided to do is to leverage on that technology. Okay. And because this technology has been around for more than 15 years now, and the cell phone companies are making a lot of money from it. They are not crying that people are counterfeiting them. we believe that. We believe that we are riding on the back of a giant, and that if any counterfeiter attempts to break that code, the cell phone companies will start fighting them first because they will be in danger. Their business will be in danger.
So just let me tell you a story.
Okay.
Sorry, I had a patient, and post-surgery, I had got these antibiotics for the patient when it was time to discharge. And I scratched it myself. But being me, I gave the person the drugs with the pack as expected. Right. And then I had a quarrel. Doctor, why did you scratch it? I should have been the one, since I'm the one using the drug. Exactly. I should have been the one to scratch mine.
Exactly.
So maybe can we plead that these companies allow us to send the number like 2 or 3 times before? So he keeps telling us the code.
Did you scratch and send?
I want to confirm what I was giving to my patient.
Okay.
And after I confirmed it was the right thing, it wasn't counterfeit. Yeah. I now gave the patient, and she wanted to try it. Now I don't know what her outcome was, but we had a little squabble.
Yeah.
If she tried it after you had scratched and text, it will come out as this number has been used.
Okay.
So don't use it. And that was deliberately done when we were thinking about this technology to avoid the counterfeiter. A counterfeiter can go and look at the number.
And
then pick on another drug.
So the person
and that is why we even covered it. Yes. We even cover it. We even require that it must be covered. You have to scratch first before you reveal it. Otherwise, people will just go and just mess up all your medicine in the store.
Because I was just about to ask that we should allow it to be used twice, but now I just see the reason.
Yes, I think the best thing to do is that if you are scratching, of course, it's not only that patient's life that is at stake. Your own medical license is at stake too. Well. So both of you have your stakeholders in that drug.
Oh my
so both the doctor who is trying to give the medicine and the patient who is receiving the medicine have something at stake.
Wow.
The patient's life might be at stake, but your own life, that's your livelihood of practicing of medicine, is at stake.
True.
So you want to authenticate the medicine that you are giving to your client. That is why your patient, that is why we wanted to scratch and verify. I think there are two things that scratch it and let the patient be there looking while you are doing it. So both of you are doing the same thing, so you know why it is done.
What is happening?
I have a question.
Okay.
We discussed it earlier. If a product has a NAFDAC number, for example, we see herbal products in the market. Herbal. I'm not a big fan of herbal medications. Some people are. But if you find a herbal product with a NAFDAC number on it, what does it mean?
Exactly.
If you see any herbal product with a NAFDAC number, so far we have not been able to give full registration status to any herbal product.
Okay.
We only verify the safety of that product.
Okay.
We call toxicological studies to make sure that that drug, if given at the doses that are recommended, is not dangerous to the patient. But we have not verified the capacity of that drug to cure any particular condition.
Okay. There you go.
Efficacy, we call it efficacy, has not been verified by us.
Exactly.
Right now, we are just partnering with the National Institute of Pharmaceutical Development, Research and Development, NIPRID, in Abuja, to help us verify the efficacy. But we have not done that for any one drug in Nigeria.
Okay, good.
So, if you, but these people, we have a lot of charlatans that are selling these things. You go to a market square, you see a car, somebody standing with a loudspeaker.
Is the NAFDAC number of that product. That's the first thing.
In fact, we arrested somebody who claimed that he was a professor. Here, we arrested him. He had a product with NAFDAC number, claiming that soap could even help you pass an exam. You know, a professor wrote that the soap exam success soap.
Exam soap.
Yes.
And people will buy it.
I have a sample of it in the office. People are buying it now. People were buying it.
I need to see
and then he'll put NAFDAC numbers on it. He said, this is NAFDAC number. It's exam success soap. Wow. This is the difference. Somebody they have claimed, they kind of claim, spurious claims. They will show you this is the NAFDAC number on it. It can help you cure hypertension, cure HIV/AIDS.
With hepatitis and Ebola.
Even help you pass an exam without going to school. Every claim we have heard from this.
Very interesting. You actually talked about the herbal medication, because at least most people now know a lot more, because you find out that most people come to you in the hospital after taking these things, and for a long time it hasn't worked.
But they're more sophisticated now.
Exactly.
I just arrived Makurdi for my weekend, because I was going home to my village to see my mom on the weekend. I arrived Makurdi, and here on TV, there was this guy advertising that he has computer diagnosis.
He was?
For your condition.
Yes,
and he has all the medicine.
They do that. Oh my goodness.
You hold the machine and
they tell you everything from head to toe. It is very, very scary.
This was in the night. So in the morning on Saturday, I decided not to proceed on my trip. I decided to go and check out this guy.
Oh my goodness, sir. It's happening here in Lagos. So I went to companies to do this
I went there with
analysis.
I went there with my staff. I sent him up. Within the family, they told him to hold to
quantum analysis, yes.
And they put on the computer. Within a short time, he came out with the kind of diagnosis
like six cancers.
You wonder why he was alive.
So, sorry, the sad part about that is that they've created this system where they sell this drugs for ambiguous amounts to the, because they have to sell you their own drugs. Of their subject.
By the time he left there, he had more than 10 medications, and he had spent more than 20,000 naira.
Oh, that's the cheapest. That's
and then the police came upstairs later.
Oh my goodness. So I'm just glad that we are treating all these topics. We'll take a short break. When we come back, we'll continue on today's topic. It's counterfeit medication, and we've been talking with the Director General of NAFDAC here in Nigeria, Dr. Paul Orhii. We'll take a short break. With the doctors continues right after this.
Maybe they should have a sticker on it, you know. Maybe they should have a sticker on it that will signify either the drug is fake or original.
Can hold something like seminars to educate people, or go from offices to, as in place they sell drugs, from one place to another to check, in order to know if there's fake drugs or...
For that to tackle, I think it has to do with, they have to go, I think most of the drugs, I think they are importers. They have to cross-check, work with the customs agents, then the pharmacists themselves. I think they should be going to their shop regularly to be conducting. I think the NAFDAC, I feel they are working they are working only on federal as in capital cities. They don't care about the less privileged ones living in urban, the local.
Okay, you know this code sending is limited to a few drugs. They could extend it virtually to all drugs because it's not in existence for all drugs. Then secondly, enlightenment campaign as usual, because people are still not aware. If you compare the rate of awareness as has to do with election and use of drugs and other consumables, I think you'll see that there's a great difference.
Can use it to test for drug samples. I'm going to demonstrate for capsules. This is original. This is original Bisham Ampiclos capsule. This is referred to as a vial. We need just about 2 or 3 of such capsule. We'll fill up this vial. We have the vial holder already attached to the aperture of the TrueScan. This is referred to as a vial holder. There's an aperture through which the laser beam will get to see this sample here. And then I want to check for Ampiclos. As you can see, Ampiclos 500 already delivery actually has different drug samples whose signatures have been acquired and stored on the system. They are arranged in alphabetical order, just like you can see. That is Ampiclos 500 milligram capsule, right? We want the TrueScan to check whether it is genuine or counterfeit. Within a couple of minutes, it will return a result. All right, just like you can see, that's a pass result. There are other organoleptic tests that we normally carry out. For example, Ampiclos has a characteristic odor, smell, just like that of penicillin. But if you actually perceive this, you realize that it doesn't have that characteristic smell. And so you can tell. Besides that, the shell is so brittle that it breaks at a little pressure, unlike that of the original. Also, you also realize that the content is fuller than that of the genuine. These are other preliminary tests that we normally carry out before we actually do the actual run. And then you can tell. Okay, so you have it in the vial now. You get into the vial holder. And then we want to do a check. Also for Ampiclos 500 milligram capsule. Like I told you, we have obtained the genuine sample from the manufacturer. We copy the signature into the system. And now the TrueScan will be reading through the signature of the sample and match it, superimpose it with that we have copied. If they are in tandem, it returns a pass result, like the other one you saw earlier on. And if there's any little deviation, it returns a fail result. It looks into the active ingredient, it looks into excipient, and every other thing that makes up the product. Now we'll run for this. You will observe that for the genuine samples, it took less than 2 minutes to obtain a result. Now, when it's taking a while, you begin to suspect that something is going wrong, because having taken the signature of the sample, it tries to superimpose it on that of the genuine, and if they don't mark peak for peak, width for width, any deviation, it carries out a perform post-analysis verification, just like you can see now, performing analysis, verifying the material, what exactly it is. It tries to look into the library and see what does it look like, what is it synonymous to. And then you have a failed result here, just like you can see.
Hi, you're welcome back. It's with doctors. We've been talking about counterfeit medication. We've been talking about it with a special guest in the house, Dr. Paul Orhii. So we had so many questions. He has clarified so many of them for us. We'll still be asking just a little question even before we wrap up this particular segment. And I would like to ask, sir, how does one report a questionable product in terms of medication? Because we've been talking about counterfeit medication. So one identifies or notices that this particular medication might be fake. How does one report to the authorities?
I particularly like the way you have framed it. You do not have to confirm that it is fake because you do not have that capacity. The general public do not have that capacity to confirm. But just mere suspicion is enough to trigger your inquiry, and you can report to us. We have NAFDAC offices in every state of the federation, in every capital. We would have wanted to be in every local government area, but right now, and in every local government area, we requested that they have NAFDAC desk. So in the rural areas where the danger is more because of the people, they are largely ignorant and largely poor. We believe that counterfeit medicines thrive there more. So we have requested local government areas on 24th of September 2009. I invited all the 774 local government chairmen at Abuja, and we requested that they set up NAFDAC desk, and most of them have set up this desk. So you can walk into a local government council and request for the NAFDAC desk and report your product. Okay. You can go to the headquarters of if you are in the headquarters of any city of a state. Yeah, we have a NAFDAC office there. You can report, or we have NAFDAC hotlines. We have phone lines that I don't have here, but I will make available. But
we'll make sure.
If you watch NAFDAC on your health on AIT, on NTA, on channels, you will see our hotlines where you can call and report not just fake drugs, but any product that is of questionable wholesomeness.
Right.
Now, if you are watching at home, you find out that these numbers are scrolling right now.
On Cool TV.
Yes,
on
now on
Cool
TV. Something is important. We have a question from our social media. It's at We The Doctors. That's our Twitter handle. Emmanuel says he's a trader, and he wants to know why Nigeria. His question is, why is Nigeria the market for pushing in counterfeit drugs?
Like I said, that most countries have this problem, but Nigeria is particularly their target for many reasons.
Okay.
Nigeria is a big economy. The population is large, 170 million people.
That's a lot.
Then the disease burden is very high here in Nigeria. If you look at malaria alone, the sub-Saharan Africa has about 1/4 of the world disease burden, and Nigeria has 1/4 of that 1/4 by itself. So that is why anti-malarials are used in huge volumes. Then we have tropical diseases where people take, many people take antibiotics. So antibiotics, that is why the anti-malaria are the fixed the most often counterfeited medicines. Then anti-malarials, antibiotics followed. And then there's anti-diabetic. And you know that non-communicable diseases are also on the increase in Nigeria.
They are.
Because of we are better off, the lifestyles are improving. And then many of these non-communicable diseases that we thought were not here, like diabetes, you talk about hypertension is here. So people counterfeit those medicines also very often. Of course, the aphrodisiacs. We just intercepted 40 food containers.
Wow. 40 food containers.
40 food containers with Zahigra. This is a generic form of Viagra. Okay. Unfortunately, this is almost double the dose of Viagra, or even triple the dose of Viagra that we approve. You can imagine the consequences.
Yes.
Somebody taking maybe double that dose and can have a heart attack right there.
And that's the end.
So some of these problems. We have seen an increase in even tramadol being imported with huge quantities. 240 food containers of dose. Wow. 240 food containers of tramadol too we intercepted within that past 2 weeks for this same purpose too. Wow. So and they are double the dose. 200 milligrams. We have
And
seen
it's
200
is
milligrams.
it written on the pack?
They will write 100 milligrams and give you 200 milligrams.
No, these ones are written on the pack 200 milligrams.
Wow.
What?
Because, you know, usually we do not, NAFDAC does not register 200, we register only 100 milligrams.
Exactly.
Yes.
And in jurisdictions where 200 milligrams are approved, it is approved as a slow release
Releasing.
tramadol. But here we have quick action tramadol release. So we have so many factors. We have large, vast and porous borders
Yes.
that are poorly manned because we have these borders, sometimes fluid borders with fellow ECOWAS countries. If you go to Cotonou here, you see the ships berthing. You need all the large quantities of products, you know, that they are not intended for that small country.
Destined for Nigeria.
All of them are destined for Nigeria. So vast and porous borders, a huge population, and then high disease burden. And then you look at the economy where we have the capacity to buy these things and the prices are high, but people want to come here. And then you add to that the fact that for a long time we had very low local manufacturing capacity.
Yes.
We depended so much on imports.
Yes.
We just started encouraging our local manufacturers to step up their facilities, both in quality and in quantity. Right now, we have just got a WHO approval for 4 of our companies that manufacture medicines locally. And we are doing WHO pre-qualification. We have sent another list of 6. Hopefully, very soon, Nigeria will become self-sufficient in the supply of these essential medicines made available to us at affordable prices in Nigeria. And we can become a net exporter of medicines instead of the current situation where the net importer of medicines.
Exactly. That's
but because of some of these measures that we have taken, I told you about the fight against counterfeit medicines. We'll be able to drastically reduce the incidence of counterfeit medicines. My predecessor, the late Professor Dora Kunyile, when she came, I told you that it was around 40%. They reduced it to 16.7%. Wow. When I came, I said that's not acceptable. We have to meet international standards.
Yes.
And then we have put so many other measures in place. Collaboration with the media, collaboration with international organizations, collaboration with traditional rulers, collaboration with the entertainment industry, all these cutting-edge technologies which have made Nigeria the global leader in the use of cutting-edge technology to fight counterfeit medicines. Thanks to all these measures, we have been able to reduce in major cities like Lagos, the incidence of counterfeit medicines is less than 5%.
wow.
But in the rural areas, I told you that the picture is still bad and we are fighting it.
Right.
As a result, we are now recognized globally as the leader in the use of cutting-edge technology to fight counterfeit medicines. Thanks to which, when the WHO was the vice president of IMPACT, there's the International Medical Products Anti-Counterfeiting Task Force, made up of 193 countries, was the vice president headquartered in Geneva. And when we replaced that with the WHO membership mechanism on spurious, substandard, labeled, falsified counterfeit medical products, I was unanimously elected the first chairman of that prestigious organization at the WHO. I just handed over to my colleague in Argentina. So a lot of effort is being done, and with the mass that enables the Nigerian consumer to authenticate the medicine before they buy, I believe that very soon the issue of counterfeit anti-malaria drugs will also become minimized in the country.
Thank you very much, sir, for coming
sir.
to join us today. We've gotten a lot of information about the agency, and we are so grateful for everything that you are doing. We know you are also doing United Nations Life-Saving Commodities Program, which is another huge one. Can you tell us quickly about that, and then we'll wrap up the show, because I think it's worthy of us mentioning today.
Well, quickly, the United Nations found out and decided that there are a few some commodities that are very, very simple commodities, but if made available in the right qualities, in the right quantities, and access to population is increased, they will significantly reduce maternal mortality, infant mortality in societies. And you know that's a big problem for some of these countries.
Yes.
So they selected about 50 countries where this is a big problem. And then they selected the 13 commodities. Some of the commodities, they found out that in some women sometimes cannot choose when they get pregnant or not. Too frequent pregnancies lead to sometimes maternal deaths.
Right.
So they decided to promote female condoms, emergency contraceptives, So we are promoting those. They found out that some of these women, they die during labor. And these are because of eclampsia, preeclampsia. Yes. So magnesium sulfate will be promoted. We are going to promote oxytocin for management of postpartum hemorrhage.
Yes.
But because of oxytocin, like I said, is temolebide, we are trying to develop a form that will resist this heat. But we're making misoprostol available for management of postpartum hemorrhage.
Yes.
And I failed to mention that this United Nations Commission is co-chaired by our president and the president of Norway. Okay. And NAFDAC has been selected as a quality control agency for the 50 countries that are participating in this project.
That is absolutely
fantastic. Did the things like we looked at the children, why are they dying? Pneumonia, you know, pneumonia alone is killing about 17% of the children die because of pneumonia. So we are going to make dispersible amoxicillin tablets for management of that. Sepsis, childhood sepsis. We're going to make injectable antibiotics available for that. Right. And some of these products are already produced here in Nigeria.
What about sweet ORS?
Diarrhea.
Sweet ORS as well. There are so many.
But we selected 13 commodities.
There are so many of them, but definitely, we are definitely going to have Dr. Orhii come back to talk about all this, because one episode will not be enough. So I'd like to say thank you so much for joining us today. We are so proud of what the agency is doing, the NAFDAC agency. We have talked about it from the beginning of the show, and we'll still continue it on social media. Most of our episodes, we are downloadable. They are online. You want to go to cooltv.cool on YouTube. You see the episodes there to watch We the Doctors, and of course send your messages to @We the Doctors, and we'll talk about it on our show. Sir, thank you so much for joining us. That has been our episode. So we'll take, that'll be it for now. From myself, Dr. OK, Dr. Yvonne. Our special guest, of course, the Director General of NAFDAC, Dr. Paul Orhii. We're saying thank you for watching and stay healthy.
Thank you very much.